Hiya, Lawrence. Thank you for talking to Horror Metal Sounds. I'm Mike, you're Lawrence. We had a little brief chat. Really good to speak to you. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the horror and the metal.
Oh, thank you.
I just reviewed it. I gave it 10. It was like, wow. It just kind of sent it to me. When you want to review it, I put it, yeah. So I put it on. Never heard you. Wow. Your voice, your voice, I described you as a mixture of Mark Oskieda. I don't want to be disrespectful by not pronouncing it. Chuck Billy Zetro.
Sure, yeah.
How did you naturally just find your voice, or
I mean, first off, thank you very much. I read the review and it made me really happy. Well, ever since we started doing this band, I mean, those people that you're mentioning are my vocal heroes when it comes to this music. I mean, I always say because I listen to all these thrash bands and I get influenced by them, obviously. So I mean, eh, I think in the beginning we kind of did a song. We wrote a song which was like, oh, this is kind of an Exodus riff, and then my voice naturally just wanted to do a little bit like that, and then some a song that was a bit like Overkill, so sounded a little bit like Bobby Blitz on that track, and it all, as we got going, it just melded together into one solid kind of thrash voice that I do, kind of a bit animated, a little bit over the top, maybe, I don't know, but it's, I think it suits the music and the whole horror thing that we try to portray in the music.
absolutely? And when I put it on, the first thing I heard that them Death Angel vibes in the opener, I was like, oh my God. And your voice, you hit the height to start that scream, and then I thought, God, this guy's good. He's really good. Yeah, I mean, you obviously,
Thank you.
yeah, obviously, and the music suits it absolutely perfect. So, and you've been going since 1987, or is that
87 is like the official start of the band, as kind of the name was thought up and the concept and everything, but I didn't know the guys back then. Well, I was only how old was I was only 10 years old at that point, and I didn't even live in the same city as these guys. So um yeah, it's that's where the band, the whole concept formed, and they did some rehearsals and stuff. But it was 10 years later when I moved. Well, I had moved to this town, Uppsala, where we all live, and I met these guys, and they were like, they met me and knew I was a singer, and they thought, why don't we really do something of this F.K.U thing that we've just been, having as a little bit of a fun time at the rehearsal space. When you're done with your other bands, you start jamming these fun thrash riffs. It's like, it's been 10 years. Maybe we should do something with it. They thought, and so when they met me, they're like, let's do this band for real. So
hmm,
it's like two starting points. It's 87 and it's 97. So it depends on how you look at it, basically. Yeah.
yeah, you've got six full? Is it six full lengths? Six or five? I can't remember. I was just looking before. Full length
Yeah.
album.
Don't put me on the spot here, but I think this is sixth one. Yes,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
the sixth one.
I thought I'd better research before I speak to you because oh no, actually we've got, but yeah,
Well, I even had to think about it, so don't worry about
but
it.
no, it's really cool, and obviously the amount of time you've been going says something about the band because you for a band to go that long. Oh, that's really annoying. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah, no worries.
we'll put some spotlights in, but it says something about the band. If it can go that, if it lasts that long, you've obviously got good um comrade comradeship, is it the word? Comradeship. You're all obviously very, very good friends.
Yeah.
You've lasted that long. You you obviously, it's like I play in a band. I've played in bands for years. You eat together, you live together, you drink together, you spend time in a van, in a rehearsal room, all together. So when you all come together, like you say, you all met and they said, let's do something. Was
Mm.
it was it an easy thing to fall into, where they was everything like, these guys are really cool and I can do this?
Yeah. I mean, I knew most of them, and because I moved to this city, right, where to study, and then I met some other metalheads, and I started playing bands and stuff like that, and I got to know these guys a little bit because they had another band in this town, and so I knew them pretty well. And when they asked me to come and sing with them, just for fun, it's just going to be a fun project, let's see if we do something with it. They said, but I mean, I got along with them really well. I mean, they're all a bit older than me, but we still have the same references when it comes to metal and horror movies. We just talked. That's what we talked about. It's like, yeah, we talked about what films we liked, and all the thrash albums that we love. Because when as I said, '97 is when I basically joined, or if it was a bit earlier, and then it was 90. I don't really actually remember exactly when, but this kind of music wasn't popular at all at that point, because as you know, in '97 it was becoming a lot of new metal, and everybody wanted to sound like maybe Machine Head or something like
Yeah.
that. It wasn't the old school, like Bay Area thrash wasn't really popular. So we all had that in common, that we really loved that stuff, and we wanted to do that despite it being the least popular type of music that was going on at the time. So we kind of saw it in the beginning as like a tribute band to this type of sound, So that's how we saw it in the beginning. So it was all about having fun, and the only reason that we kept going, for a while, is because this was so much fun, hanging out, all of us together, and just and as you've seen, we've done 6 albums, but we never really broke through, to a larger audience, because we've never seen this as a band that has a kind of a career. We just done it when we had the time to do it, time where everybody still is working day jobs, and we're just doing this band on the side, just when we feel like it, when we want to put something out there, and when we want to book some shows, we do it. We've done it on our terms all the time. So, and so we're doing it just because we like to hang out, and because we just love the whole concept of it.
Yeah. I've always said that music should be, it's a love thing. And when you start doing it for the money, that's when things start to, yeah, it's not quite as good, because now you're thinking of the next dollar, pound, whatever currency in the world. You're thinking this, that, and the other. Maybe not all the time, but I think certainly with thrash, like you said, in the '90s, it kind of went away a little bit. It never died; it just went away.
No.
I grew up in on these bands. I saw these bands on the New Order tour. I saw Death Angel on the Frolic through Europe tour, and the small, in like a small venue, like a pub.
Yeah.
In London, it was like wow. And I saw Testament, I saw Exodus, I saw all these bands growing up, and you could see back then, it was, to them, it was like, it was fun. You could see, like you say, it's all about the vibes. And then it kind of disappeared when grunge came in, but it was always there. And then, like now, there's a massive resurgence in thrash. All these bands are like, wow, like Creator. Like, when I was growing up, somebody said to me a couple of years ago, it was Ben who was in Carcass. I went to see Creator with him a few years before lockdown. And it was like, when did Creator ever get this big? Because all of a sudden they've come back, and now they're bigger than they ever were. So, like, I think thrash is a lifestyle, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, as we went along, So I mean, I'm thinking you're a little bit older than me, but still, we have it went from heavy metal to thrash metal
Yeah,
to death metal to black metal, and it seemed like there was a new thing all the time, and something a bit more extreme and everything. Now it's like you don't move from one thing to another. It's just everything exists now. It's like
yeah,
you have the thrash, you have the death, everything. If you go to festivals, all the genres are there. They have fans. All the genres have their fans, you know. So it's not like it used to, because I used to look at it like things is always changing and this is the new thing. But nowadays it's like there's a huge audience for thrash and there's a huge audience for death metal. Let's not even get into black metal. That's a whole thing in itself, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whatever style you do today, that is kind of, you know, it's you have an audience. Which, but as I said, in '97, not so much. It was just our friends, you know, who enjoyed the same thing. But I mean, the thing that we figured out is that there were so many people that were into this thing and thought that our first album was awesome. Even our first demo that we did was like, yes, I've missed this kind of stuff, you know, but no, because nobody releases this, you know, and all the bands that we were influenced by, Testament, Exodus, nobody released anything. They were all broken up, you know, during
Yeah.
these years,
Or
pretty
on
much.
in hiatus. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they couldn't make the money from touring because it was this
Exactly.
or that genre coming in and it was all creeping in. But yeah, yeah. So
Sure. And I think the first resurgence, you know, the first real resurgence of thrash was when obviously Testament released the album The Gathering, and I think and Exodus did they reunited and played a live show, and they made a live album of it. I think it's called Another Lesson in Violence. It was
yes,
produced
yes.
by Andy Sneap, and it sounded so good, and everything was awesome. So that kind of, at least in our, you know, in our sphere here in Sweden, people were really starting to, you know, yeah, man, fucking Exodus and Testament. So thrash started coming up again, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And then you had the
Mm.
bands that never really went away, like Slayer were always bubbling. Metallica, even
Sure.
not really thrash anymore, but you can't argue with their legacy. They were one of the
Mm.
big guys. They still are one of the big guys, maybe not in thrash, but you know,
Mm.
they're still doing it. But then you've got Gary Holt. He's the new Exodus stuff, the resurgence. Oh,
Mm.
and you know, I love Exodus, I love Testament. So the whole thrash thing, and this is the thing that impressed me about F.K.U. or Freddy Kruger's underwear.
Yeah.
I abbreviated that at first, and I thought, oh, that could also mean "fuck you." But hey,
Yes, we've a lot of people think that, and that's funny. So we kind of see it as that as well, you know.
but it's like when I put it on, and I had my little earphones in, and I'm listening, and I'm like, wow. Then the second song, then the third song, then the fourth, and I'm like, and it came to Harvester of Horror, which is my favorite song on that. And I just thought, wow, these guys, where have you been? Oh, why have I not heard of you? You should be you should be out there. You should be all over the internet, all over. People should be sharing your music. It's incredible. And the sound that the riffs, it's like they just blow me away. It's proper thrash metal. It's like, wow, these guys are taking thrash, and you put something of your own on there as well. So it's yes, it's like I can hear your influences, but I can also hear that all your individual musicians in a band, you've all got you've gelled together and you've done something, but you've also added a sprinkle of something. And I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but it made my ears and I was like, wow, it just, and I'm singing your praises. So do
Thank you.
you play an instrument at all or?
I'm the singer, but I play I mean, I play guitar and bass pretty much and I have played in bands, you know, in these instruments. Actually, I play with a rock band in my hometown, which is a bit proggy music, you know, proggy rock, and I play bass in that band. So I do play guitar and bass. I don't drum at all, but I do write songs. So being able to, I mean, mostly guitar these days is just for me to be able to write F.K.U songs, because I mean we all write in our own ways, but me and the drummer actually write the most of the riffs, and then we figure out the stuff in the rehearsal. You know, our guitar player, he wrote, you know, a bunch of songs like the first two albums, and then he said, "All right, I've done two albums. Now it's your turn." So now we've been doing it, you know, for a while, and then the bass player writes all the lyrics. So you know, but yeah, I play, you know, as a songwriter, I kind of have to, you know, be able to play as well, you know. But our guitarist Pete is, you know, when I write the riffs and then I give it to him, it's like I know what it's supposed to sound like, because I know what he sounds like. So I'm just trying to emulate that, but I can't really do it. And as soon as he gets the riff, I'm like, yes, there it is. That's the F.K.U sound. And the thing you said about us, you know, having something of our own, that's obviously, I think, that's not something that I can touch on. I don't know what it is because I'm part of it, so I can't really see that. But I think it's with every band, when you just do that thing that you do, you kind of form some sort of special source that is always there, always on top. It's a lens that everything goes through. So that just must just be the way that we sound when we all play together. It's the F.K.U, you know, lens. I mean, as you know, when a band plays a cover of another band, it's like, yeah, that's that song, but it still sounds like this band that's playing it. So it's just what happens, you know.
Which is good. Which
Yeah.
it kind of brings me on to our next part, because I know you're a producer as well. You've had some. I've looked up on your studio. You've had some great clientele. Do you, obviously, when you're producing these bands, it must give you a really good ear for something that is good, like an earworm, so to speak. So when when you're producing these bands, do you contribute towards them? Do you say, oh, maybe this, or do you just sit back and listen and go, yeah, I like the way these guys do this?
I mean, it's hard for me. It's hard for me, and you know, if the music, if I'm unfortunate and the music doesn't inspire me, I will basically just do a technical job. I will record it well, and I will make it sound good, and try to, you know, use whatever I have to make it good. But if but in the best case scenario, it's something that I really like, and I get ideas. And if the band is really, and I mean, most of the time, I mean, most of the people that want to record with me are, you know, do it because they like what I do and what kind of input I can give. So if I have an idea, it might be a small thing, it might be a big thing. I'm always going to, you know, say it, and hopefully we'll try it out and see if it's, you know, if it's something good. So yes, I do that. And some, you know, definitely when it comes to recording vocals, because I'm a vocalist
Yeah.
myself, and I've recorded a lot of vocalists, and they want to do it with me because I am a singer, because I understand what they're doing, and I can give them ideas. So give them ideas. Just straight off, when I hear a song, I instantly know, when I hear a demo, okay, we're going to double this one. We're going to do those in stereo. We're going to have a delay going on that. We're going to, you know, it's just, that's like a carpenter coming in and knowing exactly what needs to be done. So it's just something, I've been doing it so long. So I couldn't really, it's hard for me not to get involved in that way. And sometimes there are musicians that don't really want somebody to get involved, and that's fine too. That's, that's what makes that band, I guess, that way, you know. But most of the time, yeah, I absolutely do contribute in those ways.
I asked because the production on the horror and the metal is incredible. I think I even
Thank you.
mentioned in a review saying that, you know, obviously I love the bass sound, and so many bands overlook that bass sound. And when I heard that bass sound, it reminded me a little bit of Jack Gibson. The excellent, he has that, and it cuts through, but it still has that nice rumble. And I thought, because when I searched that you were a producer, I thought this guy knows his stuff, because the guitar, everything is great. I love the guitar sound, the drums, everything. It's so perfectly balanced in the mix. And I
Thank
think
you.
that's why it hits you between the ears, because it's like everything is clear, and it's everything is, there's nothing is drowning anything else out, which really adds to that album, because your vocals are clear, everything is clear. And I thought I've got to ask that question, because obviously you work with some. I'm not going to name drop I'm just
No,
going
no,
to
no,
say
no.
people can look it up and they can see your resume. But and obviously you learn. Everybody learns from somebody else. It's part of life, isn't it? So
Yes.
and which brings me on to my next question. It's like the whole songwriting thing. You say it comes together, you write something and you go in a rehearsal room. I know bands, and one of my old bands is guilty of it, the cut and paste generation. You put some riffs and you send it in, you put it to a click track and a drum track, and then you cut and paste it to mix it. I'm a fan personally, get in the room, what have we got, and jam it. Because
Yeah.
cut and paste, yeah. Are you a fan of that, or?
I'm a fan of all the ways that you use to create something. And with our band, because we don't do one or the other, we start with the whole computer thing with a virtual drummer, and get the ideas there so the other people can listen to it, and then everybody listens to it, kind of learns the riff, so that when we get to the rehearsal space, it's not like the first time they hear it, because then we can't play it. So it's like, yeah, let's. So we do a bunch of demos, mostly me and the drummer. We do demos on the computer and we put it up there so everybody can listen to it. And then we kind of decide, should we look at these two songs? And then everybody looks at those two songs, learns the riff. Then we get into the rehearsal space and then we start playing it. And that's where we figure out, okay, what's the real tempo now that we're actually playing it? And maybe we should stop, do this break here, and just stuff that, that just happens when you feed off each other in the room. So we do both things. And I've certainly done songs that I've made a demo of, and the end product actually turns out pretty much exactly like that demo is, because maybe it was worked through so well that it didn't need much adding. But then again, we've done songs that have changed completely. We've just decided to write a new chorus. That happened on this album, the latest one. Just like change it up. So you need that rehearsal thing. You need to get in the room to feel what the song needs, because you can't know that. You can know that when you're sitting and listening to it, but then when you're playing it, the way you play, the tempo you're doing it, the groove of the drums, that can only happen. You can only figure that out in the room. Because a lot of times I've done recordings with bands that have recorded something themselves and sent it off to me to mix it, and I'm like, this song is in the wrong tempo. Don't you think this song should have gone faster? It feels like it's just dragging, and not in a good way. And it's like, yeah, we just did it the same tempo that the guitarist wrote on his computer. And it's like, they haven't even tried it out in the rehearsal room. So that happens a lot actually
Sounds
nowadays, I think.
sterile.
It does. Yeah.
Which is what I noticed about, I didn't notice about the Freddy Kruger underwear. You've got a lot of stops and starts in places, and it's like this has been rehearsed, because you can't on a computer. It's you write it, but rehearsing it is when, like you say, the drummer goes, "Oh, I'm going to take this up. I'm going to drop it down. No, I don't want double bass in that. I'm gonna Lars Ulrich it. I'm gonna go one, ba, one, ba. And it works. And then also, and then they stop and everybody plays and then they start, and it's like, wow, that really brings that on. And I can hear that on several songs on the album.
Yeah, and these type of accidents that sometimes happen in the rehearsal room as well. The drummer starts playing the wrong beat, but all of a sudden that sounds awesome to this riff. Actually, we didn't even think about that. So stuff like that happens, for all the time when you jam it. So yeah.
And again, that's the part I love about rehearsing it. It's when you make mistakes. Sometimes from mistakes you get great ideas.
That's right. Yeah.
And everybody you have to make those mistakes, because it's like you say, it's part of learning. And I bet you some of the greatest rock songs in history. I bet you when Tony Iommi wrote Paranoid, he said it was a 2-minute wonder. Oh, you've got to do this. We need 2 more minutes for the. And So, and you know, he's probably sat there and he's probably played that riff 1,000 times somewhere else,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he's making a song out of it. So, but it again,
That's yeah.
it the whole thing, and this is what I like about musicians as well. When you get in a room and everybody starts bouncing the ideas off each other, which clearly happens in Freddy Krueger's underwear. Well,
It
not
does,
in his
yeah.
underwear to some, but yeah. And it brings me back as well to the whole music industry. The internet has opened so many doors, but it's also closed a few.
Hmm.
It's stopped a lot of revenue because obviously when I was growing up, bands used to make their money from the albums, and now bands make money from gigs and merchandise. Do you think the internet's good for it, or are
I
you
think
off
the
that?
internet, I mean, I'm not going to be one of these people that tries to, that looks back on another time and everything and think that technology is a bad thing. In general, I think it has, I mean, it has made, as you know, it's made it a lot easier for us to discover new music. It's just one click and it's there and you can check it out. That's a good thing because one of the most important things when you were growing up as a music fan was discovering new bands. So that is better nowadays. But I mean, this is a topic you can discuss, to death basically. I think I think it's a lot of sometimes I get the question that do you think it's easier for bands to reach out now with the internet? It's like technically yes, because you can just put it out there and it's there. But then again, no, because the music industry is still, the top music industry is still controlling everything you hear and see. It's
Absolutely.
going through they have control over the channels that goes out there and so it's still hard to you still have to, which is good though, you still have to work as hard as a band as ever before. You have to play a lot of shows, you have to release a lot of stuff, but now there's an extra thing on top of that you obviously, they say that you need to do. It's like
Have
you
a
need
good
to
social
be
media.
active on social media and do all that stuff, and we do that as much as we can, but it's like we're not, we formed this band to be, a band, not content creators. We like to do that, but we like to share stuff. It's very exciting when we release a song and when we can show the album cover and the new band photos and the new video and stuff. It's very exciting to share that and put it out there. But we have such difficulty, being these people that just like, hi guys, so now we're about to go on stage. I don't think we could ever do that, and that's sometimes a lot of people are saying now that that's what people need to do to reach out, and it's like, no, we're just going to do what we do, and the people that find us are going to find us and they're going to hopefully like us. So
Yeah, sorry, I just had a message come up on the screen saying I've got 10
yeah,
minutes.
no worries, no worries.
Um, yeah, so I agree. A lot of it is I think certain genres of music are more into the look, we're going on stage, blah blah blah. I think in thrash metal, definitely, I think we just get on with it, just
Yeah.
do it, and somebody in the audience is going to be filming it, and yeah. So why do you need to? Yeah, we're going on stage. Who cares? Who cares? Just get on and do
Exactly.
what you've got to do. So,
Yeah.
but it's that brings me on to my next one: playing live or recording. I mean, obviously you're a producer, but from a band point of view, which is your favorite?
I mean, here's the thing. I like creating songs and getting that feeling when it comes together and you can hear what it sounds like. So I love doing albums and I love hearing when you're kind of 75% there and it sounds like a song, it sounds like a record. That's when I'm like, yes, that's the best feeling ever. But then again, playing these songs live gets you that feeling also. Usually, I'm not going to lie, when you play a lot, it's not every second. You're not excited every second
No,
on stage. That's a lie.
Sometimes
because
you're absolutely bricking it.
yeah.
You're nervous. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get really excited when you go on because you're not sure what's going to happen, what's the sound going to be, what do the audience look like? Are they going to be excited? And then when you play a few songs, and then all of a sudden you decide that this is the song that I really like tonight to sing. And you do that song and it excites you. So playing live is really exciting when you're doing it. Everything surrounding it is kind of I've been doing this for a long time, but I still have anxiety going on stage. I still do very much so. It's just something that I've just accepted that's the way it is.
I always say that if I'm not nervous before I go on stage, there's something wrong. Because,
Yeah.
like you say, when you walk on that stage, I worry. I had a gig a few months ago. I went on, and the sound engineer didn't turn because I got a wireless mic. They didn't turn my mic on. I'm like, so I had to use the backing vocals mic. And after the first song, I had to shout down the mic, turn my mic on, and it went wrong. There was another. They we were on a festival, and it was a quick turnover, and the engineer didn't turn the monitors on. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's the nightmare, and that's the anxiety before. Is this going to be? Are we going to look like Bad News or Spinal Tap on
yeah,
stage
yeah.
now? That's you're just like very yeah. It's just everything. You worry about everything that can go wrong, but once you know that everything is fine, then the
Oh,
fun begins.
it's
Yeah,
just full flow, isn't it? It's like you say,
yeah.
that's it. You get on stage and everything's going right, and you look and everybody's smiling. Or if you've got the heavy metal face, but because you can see in their eyes. Yeah, because we've got one guitarist, he doesn't know how to smile. But I know when he's happy because his head is bouncing. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know, and it's like you say, you can't rehearse for that.
No,
It's
no, no.
you rehearse for the gig, but you can't rehearse for if everything going to be good. It's just, but so I'm going to have to move on because I've only got a few, like about 6 or 7 minutes left on this Zoom call.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
But horror,
Mm,
we all love horror films in Horror Metal Sounds. I know you do, obviously, because
yeah.
Freddy Krueger's Underwear says so. And that album is you've got Chainsaw Massacre and samples, you've got The Omen in there, you've got Scanners samples. What's your favorite horror? What's your favorite horror film?
My favorite horror films are it's the first Evil Dead, it's The Shining, it is The Omen, it is, and now I'm getting into like I can talk about this for 4 hours. It's the first Chainsaw Massacre. It is the first Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, these are all films that are slightly different because as horror can have a lot of different types of vibes. It can be the more British, the more slow kind of The
Yeah,
Omen style, and it can be like a fast-paced American slasher.
yeah,
And
slasher
it can
film.
be like and it can be like ghostly, so it can be like spooky. So there's so many genres, and it's kind of hard. That's why we like. That's why we like so many horror films that we just like. We have a whole long list of films that we want to write about. So
Yeah,
so
so
we're just ticking them off, on the
I
list.
was going to say you've still got quite a few albums in you for that then, because
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
you've got the hostels as well on the human psyche and torture and stuff. So you've got all that and people say, oh yeah, that's not really it is a horror film. It's the
yeah,
horrors of man. Yeah,
yeah.
the
I mean,
evil.
we have been kind of restrictive, when it comes to movies. At the beginning, it's like it can only be from the 80s, but now when we've done Event Horizon, which is from the 90s, and now this album we did, You Are Who You Eat, which is the film Ravenous, fantastic film Ravenous with Robert Carlyle.
I love
So
that line. You eat,
yeah,
bon appetit.
yeah, and that and that's from the 90s. So now we're kind of looking at, because we think there was a pretty long time where horror movies weren't that good. We feel like in the late 90s and 2000s. Nowadays, I think some really good stuff is coming out actually.
One of my favorites growing up, American Werewolf in London. I loved that film
Oh
so much,
yes.
so much.
I haven't seen that for so long. That's so good with all these old films that you can, you can go 10 years without watching it and then watching it again, and it's still awesome. Yeah,
Fantastic. It's like The Omen.
yeah,
You put The Omen on
yeah.
now, and it's still good. The
Oh,
Exorcist,
so good.
still good. Even though you can see the head spin round, and in the CGI now, you wouldn't even, it would be like, whoa. But that made it even more terrifying back then because the effects. But yeah, it was, but the thought behind it, having this head turn round, and yeah, and even
Yeah,
American Werewolf in London, the effects were great. And now, even the old black and whites, Dracula and Frankenstein with Bela Lugosi, you look back at it. I was a kid, I used to hide behind the sofa. But
yeah.
it's like, it's quite comical. But back in the day, it was scary.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, really was. I mean, that's what's so fun with this band, that um, when we decide, we want to do songs about this film, it gives you a chance. I mean, you watch horror films all the time, but it gives you a chance to, to rewatch some stuff that you haven't seen in many years, because you need to like just research it for this song, for this album. So it's a fun process.
So, you've already got ideas for the next Freddy Krueger album, then?
Yes, obviously, yes. We even have two songs that we recorded, but then we decided that enough is enough. We didn't want to do a super long album this time. We wanted to condense it to like 10 songs, like a classic album. Five songs on each
Yeah.
side of the vinyl and everything. So yeah.
Brilliant. And that's what I liked. It was in and out. And like I said, I had to press repeat, because it was so good. I wanted to go back. Oh, and then I was like, wow, that riff, this riff. But yeah, like I say, I can't sing your praises high enough. I look forward to the next album. Gigs, got any gigs coming up?
We're doing a lot of gigs in Sweden, and we're trying to get out there, working with a booking agent now for Europe, and hopefully we can play a lot more in Europe, because right now is like the we really feel that we want to play live a lot this time around, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity to do it. We're going to just work on building the band even more this year, and hopefully, maybe next year will be an even better, live year. We're not sure. Let's see. But yeah, we're hoping to play a lot, and hoping to come to England, of course. That's where I was born, and I love England, so I go back at least once a year. So playing there would be awesome.
Whereabouts in England do you come back to?
Well, when I go, I mean, I've been all over basically. I mean, me and my girlfriend, we visit London, but we've driven all around Cornwall, North Devon, up. We've been to Scotland, and we're there once a year. We just drive around. And I'm from basically the south. I was born in Chertsey, which is around Heathrow,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
area.
yeah.
But I spent so much time down in Brighton and Bournemouth and Eastbourne when I was a kid. So I love the coast, the south coast.
But yeah, it would be really good to see you. Really good, and especially if you bring Freddy Krueger's underwear over, because yeah, I think a lot of people in England will really go crazy for that. I think so. I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it.
Yes, I mean that's all we can hope for at this point, is that people that do discover us to try to spread the word, so it becomes easy for us to come and play. Because we need a promoter to trust that people are going to turn up to the shows.
Yeah,
I mean, so far in Sweden, it's really well. I mean, we can do short tours here and everything, and play all the big festivals. And I mean, we've played a lot overseas as well. We've been to the UK once. We did a couple of small shows, one in Birmingham, one in London, a long time ago. I think it was 2008 or nine or something.
fine.
So
Yeah.
long time ago, yeah. But we'd love to come back, and nowadays, I mean, nowadays the metal world is a little bit more professional, I guess. So there's a lot more shows and festivals. So there's a lot of places to play. So we're really looking forward to coming over. I mean, I've played the underground a couple of times with another band. So that's a
Underworld.
place we could, underworld. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's somewhere we could definitely play. So we'll just hope something turns up.
yeah. I like I say, I'm pretty damn sure that if people really get onto it, and I'm telling people get onto this band, really get onto them, I'm pretty sure you will get good crowds, because
Yeah, I mean, hopefully.
exceptional band.
And for anybody that decides to check out FKU, as I said, we talked about we're on album 6 now, so there's 5 other albums to check out if you never heard of us.
I'm going to work my way through them. Trust me, I'm going to work my way through them. Yeah, like I say, you've 6 albums. That's a good show there, because you just take the best of everything and jam it in. So,
Yeah,
I for one really want to see it. I really want to see it, and yeah, I can imagine you guys being a lot of fun live, very energetic because the music's energetic. So yeah, just
I mean,
just
I mean,
sounds
we're old farts now, obviously, but you can tell that we're really having fun, and that's all that matters. Maybe we're not jumping around just as much as we did in our 20s, but we're still enjoying it just as much.
exactly. I spoke to Biff Byford before Christmas, and he's in
Oh
his
man,
70s, and they're touring, and like people don't care about age anymore. Years ago,
no,
it
no,
used to, but people now, it's like, yeah, these guys are good. It doesn't matter how old
exactly.
they are. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you see, you look at Paul Diano, the man
mm,
has got health problems, and
mm,
people still go and see him. They
mm.
go because it's the music. Years ago, there was a lot of stigma, but now
Yeah,
people are so open now. So they just want the music and they see it. And yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are, what you look like. You don't have to be a supermodel. Years ago, all these bands used to, Bon Jovi, you had to be really, but now
yeah.
people just they don't care. They just like, wow,
No,
yeah,
it's not about that anymore. It's just about there's a great band. They're great
yeah,
musicians. I want to see this live, and see that the people on as long as the people on stage are enjoying themselves,
yeah.
it's going to be a good show. Yeah,
Yeah, I always think that an audience feeds off the band as well. So
exactly.
an audience can love a band as much as they want, but if the band just walk on and go play by numbers,
Yeah,
like where's the energy? What am I
yeah,
supposed to feed off?
yeah, exactly. I mean, a band can play the same show with an audience that's not interested and an audience that's really, really psyched. They can play this technically the same show, but it's going to be a totally different experience because you can't hide, you can't fake it. You're going to be a professional, obviously, if it's not a good crowd. You're going to try to work them, but at the end of the day, if you can't, luckily we don't have that much problem. We always have, if we might not have the whole audience, but we always have our true
Die
horror
Hard.
metal freaks in the front row. We can always trust them.
Yeah. And once they start going, it's like, yeah. And
Yeah,
it does, it kick starts the adrenaline. So it's a great feeling. It is a great feeling, especially when
it
people
is.
are chanting and you can see them and they're singing along some of the words, or they don't know the words, but they're screaming, they got the horns up. It's great. It's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, that's the best thing, and we get to do it next weekend. So I'm happy.
Well,
Now we start. The album is released on
no,
Friday.
yeah,
It's now. Oh no, it's this weekend. Yeah, so it's being released on Friday, and then we're playing some Swedish shows from Saturday and like probably pretty much every weekend until the end of March. So yeah.
yeah, cool. So
Mhm.
whereabouts in Sweden you're playing?
We're playing in around our area, going up north, Sundsvall, and then we're playing, a little bit down south and Linköping. Just we're doing the whole middle of the country right now, and then hopefully we're going to get down south a little bit later this year, and hopefully go outside Sweden as well. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think you need to get outside Sweden as well, because
Mhm.
yeah, you're criminally overlooked. I yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I'm trying to tell the booking agents. It's like nobody we're you don't sleep on us, guys. You need to bring us out there because
yeah,
everybody in Sweden knows of us now. We need to put us on stages in Europe, and
yeah,
yeah,
100%. Get them audiences all over, and because
yeah,
I'm pretty damn sure that once they hear this album, I'm pretty damn sure you're going to have a whole army of new followers, whole army of them. So
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I like I say, I'm super happy for you because I never knew about you. Now I know about you. I'm telling everyone about you because yeah, it's
Awesome, man.
yeah, and
Thanks.
enjoy the internet. You've got to do it because you see something good. It's like you go to a restaurant. If it's a good restaurant, you tell your friends.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And if you hear a good album, you tell your friends, and then your friends tell their
Exactly.
friends, etc. And this is how the music industry carries on, and this is how bands
Yeah,
keep growing and new bands are inspired. Because if we can do it, look, these guys are good. We can do this kind of stuff. We're doing something similar. So, and it gives
yeah,
them hope. So,
absolutely. I agree, 100%.
but like I say, I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you for rejoining.
No worries.
Is there anything you really want to say to the people out there and the world for the music and that are going to watch this interview on Horror Metal Sounds?
I mean, just basically, I mean, if you like horror and if you like metal, and if you're on this website, you're pretty much gonna enjoy those two things. That's what we do. That's what we're all about. That's why we called the album The Horror and the Metal, because we wanted to show people that if there was a doubt what this band was about, now it's crystal clear,
Yeah,
and check it out. And yeah, hope you enjoy listening to our stuff. I know you do now, but everybody else as well.
yeah, I'm damn sure that a lot of thrash fans are going to take you under their belts. They're going to go, wow.
Hopefully, yeah.
It, it, for me, I mean, I was blown away, and I'm damn sure there are a lot more people just like me going to be blown away.
Let's
Just
hope so.
even my wife, when I was listening to it, and she was like, I said, what you? She said, yeah, they're good. They're good. Yeah.
That's nice.
And she's not the biggest metal fan in the world, but she thought you were a good guy. She just like catchy, very, very catchy, very good. Your voice is clear. Yeah, you can hear what you're singing. You're not a cookie monster. And, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with Cookie Monsters because I love a bit of Corpse Grinder. I love Cannibal
Yes.
Corpse. I love Nile. So I like all genres, some more than others, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I get it. I agree. I agree.
So cool. Thank you for your time, and I'll keep in touch. Keep in touch. Stay safe.
Yes.
Yep.
The
Peace,
same
love,
to
and
you.
respect.
Thank you very much. See you
Cheers.
around.
See you later.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye.
See you later. Bye bye.